as far as where to start, knowledge. You cannot go into something and
you don't understand.
If I pluck out a piece of this hair and I ask you, what's the layers? What is it comprised of? And you can't tell me, and there's 3 layers, by the way.
3 layers of what?
Yes, for every strand,
yeah,
there's 3 layers to this. So if you can't give me that knowledge that it's a medulla, that it's a cortex, if you can't talk about those things for me,
you
then
shouldn't be doing hair at all. How did you start? How did you even bear the idea even way back in school?
People in Nigeria say you're a leader of tomorrow. But then I would look at those people, they told us that when we were in there. We were 10, 20, 30, 40,
and they're still there.
So yes, I had a lot of energy and I wanted to do things a certain way, and I was rude here and I was doing that. Eventually, I was fired.
Were you able to use any of your knowledge in promoting your business?
It's so complicated because I'm such a multifaceted person. I mean, we started in England. Good Hair started in England.
Okay.
We eventually had to open something in Nigeria.
All hair is processed. You cannot take hair from a donor and put it into your head.
Once you're a public figure, you become a target.
Look at all the companies we started. We have board members from Nigeria, but also from around the world, because we want to build world-class companies that outlive us.
Welcome to Omon's Couch, an entrepreneurship and career talk show where we help young entrepreneurs and professionals reach their full potential. My name is Omon Odike, your darling host, and I'll be bringing you amazing guests who have seen it all to educate and inspire you with their stories. Our guest today is the founder of Verita, a pioneering luxury hair brand reshaping beauty standards for women of color. Her inspiring journey began in Mississippi, where she faced criticism about her hair, igniting her curiosity about beauty standards. Despite pursuing careers as a flight attendant and nurse, her passion for hair led her to redefine beauty for women of color. Moving to Nigeria fueled her mission, leading to the establishment of Verita, a luxury hair brand that challenges industry norms. Today, she has created customizable curl patterns for women of color all around the world, and through her foundation, she advocates for trichology and supports women experiencing hair loss. She is none other than Candius Diallo. Let's welcome her to Omon's Couch. Candius, I'm so happy to have you on Omon's Couch. How are you doing?
Omon, it's such a pleasure to be here. I am great sitting here next to you. Thank you so kindly for having me.
The pleasure is all ours. And you look so fabulous.
Why, thank you. Well, I had to.
Your hair looks amazing as always.
Thank you.
We'll get into the secret of this hair when we go into the discussion.
Yes.
You look super, super, super lovely.
Thank you.
So thanks for coming. Viewers, you're going to be very excited to hear from Candice. She's one of the great minds behind the Verita hair brand. You're going to be hearing a lot about hair like no other. You're going to hear so much information, something that would actually make you think about the way you wear your hair, the way you style your hair, and the type of hair you actually wear. So let's listen to her wonderful, wonderful, amazing entrepreneurship journey and her story, the Verita brand. Let's listen to Candice. Candice, welcome to Omon's Couch, and please tell us about your journey. How did you start off with entrepreneurship? Because I know you were actually a career woman before now.
Yes.
But I now know, now you currently do entrepreneurship and you run the Verita hair brand.
Yes.
So speak to us about it.
So as far back as I can remember, right, I knew I wanted to do at least 3 things.
Yeah.
That was so that I can be a flight attendant, be a nurse, and sell hair. Now at that time, I had no way of knowing that I will be producing hair. I thought I do what everyone else does, right?
Which you just said, the hair.
Buy the hair, repackage, resell it, and things like that. But this was when I was like 17 years old, right? So fast forward through life. I also think this decision of this level of entrepreneurship also happened as a flight attendant when I was able to travel the world and I was a bit more exposed to certain things. So being a flight attendant, it exposed me to certain things.
Yes.
And me being a lover of hair since I can remember, of course, I always noticed women of all races and colors of hair. So I've always paid attention to their hair. And something I noticed back then was that the women of color, were the only women that alter our texture so dramatically to be able to accommodate hair extensions. So I knew
there was a gap
15, 20 years ago. Okay, I have to figure this thing out. How do I process this hair? How do I learn how to do that? What's the steps to doing this? And it wasn't easy.
So what are you saying, trying to process the wigs or the weaves we wear so that it looks more natural, like our type of hair?
That came later, but first I needed to even understand, okay, what is it? How does this happen? You know, what's the process? And just being a consumer first, being my own customer since how many years ago, and really understanding different types of hair textures, hair extensions, how to wear them, how not to wear them, and just from curiosity and research until I finally got to where I am today. So I think that journey to entrepreneurship on this level, it was some may say it was inevitable. Right? Because this is the same thing I thought of when I was 17 years old. And I mean, I'm not going to tell my age now,
but many years later,
yes, many years later, here I am on that same path. Side. Yes. So, but it's not easy being an entrepreneur.
Oh, definitely. So we'll get into that question. You're first a flight attendant, then you became a medical personnel.
Yes.
Then before moving into setting up a hair industry.
Yes.
But you didn't just stop at setting up a hair industry. You set up a manufacturing hair industry like no other.
Yes.
What was that pivotal moment that you saw that you knew you had to build yours? Why did you not just sell like what everybody was doing, sell the hair that people had? Because that would be less easier to do and maybe even more profitable.
Yes. Yeah. I think what was pivotal was actually when I came to Africa. I saw all these beautiful women and dressed beautifully and in hair extensions, but the hair extensions was not matching the culture. The person, right? So I would see bone straight hair
with an African woman.
I'm like, wait a minute, hold up, what's going on here? And there wasn't a lot.
So where were you coming from? Because
I came from
you're
New York.
You're obviously not a Nigerian.
So my nursing, I did that in New York City. So I came to Nigeria to visit.
So you're an American?
Yes. Born and raised
in America.
Yes,
I think you have to put that out there because people would think you're Nigerian, but just speaking to
I am Nigerian by heart, by love. But no, born and raised in America. My father's Native American, my mother is African American. So that's where
you're from.
I'm from. Yeah. There's no Nigerian relatives, blood.
By blood,
but I have met a lot of people now that I dare call my family and very dear to me now. So yes, it was that alone was that whole audacity of hope, right? That I could
coming to Nigeria to set up a hair industry, and you're not a Nigerian.
That's true.
That was bold.
It was, but one of the things that drove me for that decision is very simple. When they're telling this success story about this unique individual, I'm an African American woman that's manufacturing human hair
in Nigeria.
Every time I say that, I have to pause because it really is a big deal.
It's a big deal. It's
we
definitely
don't
a big
do
deal.
this. We don't. The furthest we go is getting a good vendor. We repackage and resell the hair.
Yeah.
We don't go the extra step to try and find out, okay,
how you can do it.
How is this done? What are they doing? And moreover than that, I have a voice in what you're selling me. So I knew a long time ago what they were selling me was not matching me. It wasn't giving me the results that I wanted to have happen. It wasn't able to do all the things that I felt like.
So that was definitely a gap.
It's
in the hair industry,
definitely a gap.
Especially for women of color.
A very big gap. And meanwhile, we are amongst the biggest consumers.
Yes. But and we're being fed the hair that doesn't match our culture.
The people that are making these hair extensions for us have never even touched
an African hair.
A woman, any person of color hair. but they're doing things that they think
we would like
will work for us. And when that didn't work, when they couldn't figure that out, then they started selling us their own version of what we should do. And we bought into it blindly, like little baby blind fools. So what I want to do is to do a mindset reorientation.
A mind reset.
Mindset reorientation. So their mind, so I want to reorientate them on what they think about hair, how they view hair.
Who are you referring to now? Women?
I'm talking women. So the vision is all women of the world. But right now the mission is specifically my African women and women of color, because it's not just here. We still sell in America. We still sell in UK. So, and it's not just black women or African women. We have Hispanic women, women of certain, but any woman of color. I try my best to match a texture that closely resembles her hair.
Their natural hair
so that she's not over processing her hair, so she's not losing her hair, so she's not experiencing hair thinning, hair loss from hair, traction alopecia, things like that. So we're promoting healthy hair, but also while encouraging that we realize our self-identity and just better acceptance of ourselves, right? Because I think whenever we are subjected or we're choosing this bone straight texture continuously, and I'm so against that, over something that better resembles our own hair, then there's something, whether we want to talk about it or not, whether we want to talk about it or not, then somewhere inside I feel like my own hair is inferior.
I think we may not know better. We not necessarily feel that our own hair is inferior. We may not just know better. So that is another option.
So there's the other gap. So for me, the gap that I saw here was two things. It was the product itself, having access to a hair texture such as these, and the knowledge. So that's why at Verita we're so focused on consultations.
So you're big on consultation, because then you can actually work on their mindset.
You understand? At the same time. So we have to teach you first. We need to get your hair healthy first. If your hair isn't healthy,
we can't put anything.
Then if my hair is on your hair, you're gonna make my hair look bad. And I'm gonna make your hair worse. But I want to see my women of color, whether you have in these beautiful hair extensions or you have nothing at all, we should be confident. And we shouldn't wear hair extensions at the cost of our own natural selves. Hair. It's not correct.
So that's what you're promoting through your brand, the Verita hair brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting, very interesting to know. I mean, I think women of color have been the highest percentage of, I think 80% of women of color actually embrace extensions of all types.
$4 billion industry.
Yes, it's a $4 billion industry. So, and it's growing.
Projected to be $7 billion by 2030.
Wow.
So
that's huge.
Where all I'm asking is, where are we? We're on the consumer side, but where are we in the driving force? Where are we manufacturing right now?
In Nigeria, who else is manufacturing?
As far as
you know,
as far as African American women, to my knowledge, I could be wrong. And please, if anybody can correct me, please correct me. But I know as far as in Nigeria, manufacturing 100% human hair, no fillers, no fibers, no any of that, 100% raw hair, which we'll get into that later, because there's only one type of raw hair. You can't buy raw hair and put it in, right? So if I give you raw hair, you can't do anything with it. But I am the manufacturer. I buy the raw hair. All hair is processed. I repeat, all hair is processed. You cannot take hair from a donor and put it into your head. It does not work that way. So the first thing is we have to first understand what it is that we're consuming. What's our level of knowledge? And that's why whenever I get a chance or an audience, I always try and educate my fellow women about what it is that we're buying, what to look for. Listen, even if you don't buy from La Verita,
Yeah.
at least know what you're purchasing. Know the difference, and let's sit down, let's have a conversation about what we're buying.
Interesting. You're not just building a business, you're actually building something that has a social impact.
It has to.
And even a cultural impact.
Absolutely.
And it's birthing a new idea of how we see hair, how we see ourselves, how we embrace our own identity.
Exactly.
Our true identity. Because, I mean, you've used the bone straight to, I mean, illustrate the fact that there's no way that any of us will wake up and have bone straight hair as women of color.
Not possible.
So why do we carry the bone straight hair?
And
sometimes it looks nice, I can tell you, but
it is, and it's easy.
But it's,
I
yes,
understand
and it's
the easy,
yes.
and you yourself know.
Yes, oh yes, so it's quite easy. Just put it on and you move. But I've seen, I mean, being a user of the La Verita hair brand, and I'm wearing one right now, as you can see, there's something about it. It's different, it's beautiful, it's soft, it's more natural. And you can wear it in, of course, in several different ways. So versatile. I actually thought that if I have to wear it as like a braid, I would be stuck with just the braids. But I found that you can actually have the bouncy, you can even have it straight, you can have it in so many different ways. And there's something about it, just gives you that edge of being so natural, and it's coming from your head, not being so much as an extension. So I think it's something to embrace. But let's hear from, you know, a lot of people. I mean, you know that even the Nigerian market, the hair business is one of the biggest in terms of forex and everything in between concerning hair. I would like to understand, how are you bold enough, being an American, coming into the Nigerian landscape? Okay, fine, you have identified that there's a gap. Fine, you have the idea of changing the way people see their hair and how they should embrace their own hair and their own culture. But how did you start? Because that's what we want to know.
First of all, as far as where to start, knowledge. You cannot go into something and
you don't understand.
If I pluck out a piece of this hair and I ask you, what's the layers? What is it comprised of? And you can't tell me. And there's 3 layers, by the way.
3 layers of what?
Yes, for every strand, there's 3 layers to this. So if you can't give me that knowledge that it's a medulla, that it's a cortex, if you can't talk about those things for me,
you
then
shouldn't be doing hair at all.
I won't say you shouldn't be doing hair at all. What I will encourage, go and get the education.
If you're enjoying this episode already, I want you to take a moment to please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and leave your aha moments in the comment section below. We would love to engage with you. Okay, let's get back to the show.
If I want to sell this, then I should know everything
about it
there is to know about that thing. Omon, when I was trying to learn how to process, so there's 2 ways to process. You can process the China way, which I learned that way eventually, I think about a year, 2 years ago. And I had to, because I needed to understand what my competitors were doing. Now, don't get me wrong, I am no competition with China. They buy tons of hair. I'm pushing 500 pounds to 1,000 pounds of hair. So there is no competition when it comes to that as far as quantity.
Yes.
But when it comes to quality, they cannot touch me.
They cannot touch your hair.
They cannot
touch the La Verita hair.
I will
well
say
done.
With my
a
chest.
Full chest.
They can't touch me. Number 1 is how I source my hair. So if you buy your normal track of hair, and these are things that people that are interested in going into business, they should understand these things, right? So if you get your normal package hair, you hold that bundle. If you just hold the bundle at the top, it's in a circle, right? You hold it, just squeeze the bundle. And you will notice from the base at the top where the weft is to the bottom, it's very thin. So it's thick here and it's very thin there. Now, let's just say this is a 22-inch bundle. Now, when I get here, I'm literally able to hold it in my hands like this, right? Now, what most of us don't even understand, that 22-inch hair that you've just paid for, and that whole bundle, which is 4 ounces or 113 grams, do you realize is only maybe 20 grams of actual 22-inch? The reason why you feel fullness, thin, that tells me they have 10-inch hair. Wherever you feel the 10-inch.
They started reducing the length.
They don't have 22 inches. The
Top to
ratio,
bottom.
exactly. The ratio there will be maybe, if you're lucky, 20-30%, if you're lucky. And if we're going to be purchasing here, we need to understand that. Then you now have another weft that they do. They call it double drawn, right?
Yes, there's this. Yes, I've been here. Most of vendors
You know what
say
I love about
double
China?
head, double head,
Double
drawn, hair wigs and all.
What
So
I love about them is their marketing skills.
is good.
They know how to get us. Now, if I'm having double drawn hair on the weft and it's 100% human hair, double drawn, that means to buy that raw material, even if it's 18 inches, which is amongst the cheapest, right? That means I may have spent maybe $2,000 or $3,000 for the raw bundle. That's raw for a kg. I now have to process that hair. I now have to do all this stuff to get it to a sellable item. I bought it for $2,000. I've imported it in. I'm now processing it to be whatever texture that I've told you is going to be, right? And now I'm selling it. I bought it at $2,000. I can now still get that hair at
That's maybe 500.
no, not even at 200K, 100K. And I'm supposed to believe that double drawn is 100% human. We have to understand this industry. We need to understand the market so that we can pay attention when they're giving us smokes and mirrors. It's not. The closest you can get to real human hair is those bundles that are thick and thin. When you see those, they may be real, but you're only gonna get
A small part of it. They're small.
exactly a small
it's
percentage.
yeah.
What I love about at La Verita, from my 20-inch, is 19, 20.
From top to bottom.
From 19 to 20. That's what I put together for my 20. My 18s are all 18. My 22 are all 21 and 22. Now, that now costs more to buy that raw material per kg, because that's how they sell it in the industry, right? So how can I now sell you a bundle if I've just spent over $2,000-3,000 per kg? How am I selling it?
So definitely your hair would be more pricey and people will wonder why.
No, but funny enough, it's not. We'll get into that later. But my point here is, if it's human hair, 100% human hair, how do I sell double drawn human hair at such a low price? And it's 100% human hair.
So obviously
We
there's
have
something,
to ask ourselves these questions.
something
So
is wrong somewhere.
Something is wrong somewhere. So when you're trying to get into this business, understand
So
this
knowledge
business.
is very, very
you
key.
You have to get knowledge.
So I guess
you have to.
what I think for me, what I've seen, I've spoken to a lot of hair vendors from very, very fantastic hair vendors in Nigeria. I think a lot of them kind of have a good idea of the kind of hair they sell. The only thing is they choose what they want to sell, because everybody has choices.
Yes.
So I can choose to get the Chinese one, I can choose to get the double drawn, the real, the mixed one and all that. But they make that choice themselves. I think you have made the choice that you want to sell the full 100% human hair.
No questions
Yes, it may
asked.
be a bit of a premium.
Yes.
Premium is luxury, or luxury is
true.
premium.
It's
So
true.
at the end of the day, those who would like such type of hair will go for it. I mean, there's a market for every type
single
of
thing
hair, and that's what I've
out
seen
there, and that is a fact.
Yes.
That is absolutely a fact. So it's just again, if they're trying to get into this industry, get as much knowledge as they can.
Yeah.
They don't do a lot of internship.
So they
here
don't
in
even also lose a lot of money too, or buy
oh
things
my
that
God.
they feel is something, but it's something else. You know?
Yes, you
yeah,
can.
I think a lot of people have that problem.
A lot of money can get lost in this hair industry. It's not funny. And when you have some of these bigger companies, all they want to do is make that sale. They don't care what you discover after the fact. They don't care. But the other thing, again, going back to that specific question, is if they're interested, they need to learn how to start doing internship. Work under someone who is truly knowledgeable.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with learning, self-learning, but you can't go to University of YouTube and think you're going to become an expert on something that you haven't been certified, you haven't been licensed, you haven't
even done it.
You haven't gone to a seminar, you haven't bought all different types of companies to check that you haven't done this test or that test. If I ask you what a porosity test or this test, you can't even tell me. So how are you selling hair if you don't even know that much about the product.
Yeah.
So
knowledge is really critical.
Knowledge.
So, but coming back to Nigeria, and how did you set up your industry? Remember, you didn't just come to sell bundles. You came to set up a manufacturing company to compete and to produce the kind of hair that you felt was the best possible hair for an African woman, or for women of color.
Yes.
How did you go about it? Did you not have, I'm talking about now just the normal issues like the tax issues, even doing NAFDAC, I don't know if NAFDAC covers that, but all the different types of laws and policies that guiding setting up a manufacturing company, even as little as even power and all that. How's it been?
That's a whole nother new challenge right now with power. But it's very simple. First, you start with, like you do anything else, you register your company.
Yes.
You go and get it. But this is after I've already attained all this
knowledge.
Exactly. So now I know exactly what I'm doing. I have a plan. I've already mapped out exactly what I want to do. Okay, I want to be processing hair here. I want to retail it here. I want to weft it here. I want to get ventilators. I want to install it here. So these are all things that you sit down because you are now an entrepreneur and you have created your business plan and you created a roadmap framework and you put your structure in place and you simply start applying it. Right? So my setup at Verita Hair is quite unique as we have the processing and back. Now you don't need a NAFDAC. Trust me, I went to NAFDAC and I was asking them I was like, please come and certify me. But remember something, we're not bottling anything and selling it so you can put on your skin or anything like that. We're not doing anything different than someone in a salon is relaxing hair. It's the same thing.
So that wasn't necessary.
So you don't need any licenses or anything like that for NAFDAC. But you do have to go somewhere and learn properly to learn how to actually process the hair so that you can get the results that you're trying to get. Yeah. But as far as that, I mean, it's not a hard thing to do. You plan, you know what you want, stay focused. Don't get off your goals and off your plan.
Just be resilient because
it is going to be hard, especially when you're doing something as disruptive as what I'm doing right now. So to do something that hasn't been done before, what do you mean you processing hair? What do you mean? No, you're just going to buy? No, no, I'm processing.
So how do you plan to make money eventually? I mean, you're making money now, but how do you plan to take it to the next level of wealth?
It's simple. Platforms like this. So it's not about taking it to the next level. It's first of all is where are we getting the awareness. So the first thing we have to do is increase the awareness, right? So eventually one in every 5 women in the world should know who Verita is. When we finish, that's the goal. That is the long-term goal, right? So once we're done positioning ourselves, and like I said, it's not just come and buy from me, because I have a lot of clients that I sit down with just to give them information because they need to be an informed buyer, right, in order for them to be able to purchase stuff. So I get so much joy from just teaching and explaining and
Join us on Omon's Couch, where inspiration meets action. If you are a remarkable entrepreneur or a career giant with a unique story to share, we want to hear from you. Become our guest on Omon's Couch and empower others with your journey, experiences, and valuable insights. Use the link provided in the description below to apply for yourself or nominate someone who deserves to be on this show. Let's inspire together. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question. How did your time in Nigeria shape your perspective on beauty standards and the need of women of color, particularly the African context?
So again, that goes back to that whole gap, right? So that forced me. So when I wanted to do hair, I knew what I wanted to do, but when I came to Nigeria, it actually kind of pushed me before I had want to make sure I learned, because I saw what was happening. For us in America, we've been around hair extensions since
that's true.
forever and a day. I mean, we're talking about Miss Christina Jenkins, who created wefts, a woman of color back in the 1950s. That's how we have actual hair wefts. But we've been wearing hair extensions since Cleopatra, right? But they were putting it in with beeswax. Hair extensions have been around since the beginning of time.
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
But the one thing that I noticed also when I was being a flight attendant, I would fly all over the world. But I never, and I see women wearing hair, but I never saw a Caucasian woman in yaki hair or anything like that.
Yeah, you mentioned that before. I think when I heard that, I was like, that's true.
I've never seen that.
a Caucasian
but
woman
here in Nigeria, I see us with this hair. So it
So you never wear bone straight hair at all?
No. Well, how do I wear bone? Okay, how am I going to blend it? I won't dare do a keratin. So I understand how to wear hair extensions, right? So I know the whole point of me wearing a hair extension, you shouldn't be able to tell me that I have on hair extensions. But I know if I put my 4C hair on top of bone straight hair, you'll be able to look in the corner and be like, oh, her hair is lifting, or oh, I like that weave. No, I understand that you shouldn't be able to tell where my hair stops and the extension begins. That's what you call blending.
That's the goal.
No, that's what we create, right? But do we know that? Do we understand that? It's not just about having long hair or having hair that's easily more manageable and it doesn't tangle and things like that. Don't get me wrong, don't wear hair that tangles up like a kitten. Don't do that. But even the Caucasian woman, when she lie down and get up, doesn't she have to brush her hair out?
She definitely.
If there's any human hair that never tangles, please.
It's not a human.
Please.
It's plastic.
Please.
It's a plastic hair.
Please. I
Wow.
don't know. Please.
I've been educated so much today. I hope your viewers have heard it all. She's been talking about hair like no other. I mean, she's giving a different dimension to what human hair is all about. And I think I've learned so much. And one thing she has said that's really, really critical here is you must have critical knowledge about what you want to do if you're going into the hair industry, because then that will give you informed decision while you're you're going through this part or that part. But she hasn't said that we must all build industries or sell the 100% human hair. She's just saying that knowledge will give you that, give you the options, give you all the available options for different reasons. One, knowing how to sell, what to sell. Then secondly, having knowledge so that you don't get cheated, because at the end of the day everybody buys from the same market, which is what the China market, and we know the way a lot of this hair, how they sell this hair to different customers. Having understood how you look at hair and how the Verita brand has positioned themselves to provide hair for Nigerian women of color, what would you say has been the single most challenging thing that has happened to your brand since inception, that you almost even decided that I want to quit and go back to America and have your peace?
Well, I've had that conversation with myself a time or two. Hands down, human resource.
Oh, human resource.
Now, I understand that what I'm doing, I'm pioneering something new. So it's not a lot of people.
Level, it's
exactly the skill level won't be readily available, and that's fine. I train. There's nothing in my factory that I don't know how to do myself. Every single thing I have to teach everybody.
So I know you have a training academy
to get the production. Exactly. So, but the issue I'm having here is even when you train them, right? How long will they stay? So
they carry that knowledge and they leave.
They take that knowledge and you teach them something. They think they have a skill. Oh yeah, I have a skill, and they leave again. So that's by far
the greatest challenge.
It is because it slows your growth.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop it.
Yeah, definitely.
But it definitely slows. And I'm so big on making this success story to be one based in Nigeria. So I want it to be created in Nigeria with Nigerian staff and Nigerian this and Nigerian that. We're trying to add to the economy. We need to be exporting this hair out to other countries. If China can do it, why can't we do it? Why can't we do it? Why can't we? But that whole sense of urgency, and I've seen it. I've been here for almost over 10 years now. I've been on this for 8.5, 9 years since I've been in Nigeria, but I've seen the past 3-4 years with this now generation, when they're working, they just don't have patience, and everybody's in the belief that the money will either fall from the sky or they'll hit big on Instagram.
You're not the only one going through the human capital issues.
That's my biggest challenge.
Have you tried to find a solution or a stopgap for it
yes,
now?
no, what we're doing right now, we have tried another approach. So now we want to start approaching, I don't know if they're called secondary schools, like where they're, before they go to college.
School,
because it's not all children that will go to college.
Yeah.
So we now start doing workshops in the schools, right? So we now, whoever went, so you now come start an internship.
Yeah.
And if that's something you want to do versus going to college, I find it better for them because they just have a passion for hair. They haven't had a chance to learn all the wrong things yet.
Yeah.
So they get to come under our umbrella.
So yeah, they don't have a formed mindset yet. So
yes,
you can form
on
them.
that one.
Yeah.
So we can now create together, build together, and help them learn correctly. And that knowledge they now can leave there when they're ready to go and do it correctly, no matter where they go. Right. But yeah.
So that's one of the strategies you're
Yes.
using to kind of fill the gap
We're trying.
as much as possible. But
And
the gap still is
no,
definitely
it is.
will still be there.
But
what
it's
on the
patience.
senior level, like, do you have problems with that?
With the
Manning
senior,
gap? Yeah.
as far as the workers or the customers?
The workers. So.
So I tend to try and go for younger.
So build them up.
To build them up.
Okay.
We do things like career. Not that I won't hire if you're a certain age, but it's a factory, right? So it's intense. It's not you're sitting down, and you don't sit down when you're at work, right? You're standing and you're working. So we have to be careful of the people that we're asking to do that.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to our wefting department or our ventilators, because they're sitting all day, absolutely. It can be, as long as you have the skill and you can perform, I don't care what, how old you are, so long as you can come to work and you can reach the quotas. Other than that, we don't mind. But as far as the actual factory where we're prepping the hair, that's, quite active.
Okay. La Verita is not just a business, but a platform for reshaping beauty standards and empowering women. Could you share more about the underlying vision and mission that drives your work?
The mission is
Yes.
quite simple, which, as we all know, we change our mission every 5 years. So
Yes.
right now our mission is to be the best, the top human hair processing company in Africa, catering specifically to women of color.
Beautiful.
And our mission is so that we're catering to women all over the world, applauding her choice for whatever hair texture, whatever hair extension she decides, and for any and every occasion. So right now we're focused, Africa specifically, again, but we do sell out to other countries. But
definitely.
my focus
It's Africa.
is Africa right now.
Beautiful. What a wonderful, wonderful story and experience so far. And I know that La Verita hair brand is going to do bigger things into the future. And I would like to hear from you. How do you see La Verita hair in the future, in the near future, 5 years, 10 years? What are you expecting? How do you want us to expand into the different terrains?
Just having more people to trust us.
Okay.
That's the highest level of success there is to have, right? But I mean, with everything that we're working on, with my trichology, with my cosmetology, I'm certifying in those things as well. So we're doing a hair loss clinic that we're doing. We're creating the academy to try and get more
people to understand,
to understand
That's
hair
very, very
to work.
crucial.
One of the main issues that most salons we're all facing is inexperienced, whether shampoo techs or stylists and things like that. So we want to get them certified and licensed, meaning that if they leave Nigeria, they can go to London or SA to still be able to work, because it's only here you can work without a license. You can't work without a license anywhere else without a license in this industry. So we're trying to change that, set some standards so people can take our industry serious.
That means that you're gonna, talking about certain standards, that works with policy, and that sometimes goes into the government. So that's with the long run to have a body or something that regulates.
We're working on
your industry.
We're working on that.
That would be wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you so much, La Verita hair brand. And thank you so much for pimping me up today. I look really nice and I love the hair.
I'm so glad you love it.
And we'll see more of you in the near future.
Absolutely.
So we are going back now to the fun segment of this show.
All right.
I'm going to be asking you some trivia questions. Just one trivia question, actually.
Okay.
And it's quite simple. You don't have to know it, but
I'm
let's
nervous,
hope
I'm
you
nervous.
actually
I hope
know it.
so.
Let
Oh
me
my
guess.
God. Oh my
So
God.
I haven't seen the question before now, so I'm going to ask it as it's written here. So ping pong is an alternative name for which sport?
Ping pong. What else could ping pong be? I don't know. Is that tennis?
Yes, you got it. It was table tennis, so at least you got one.
Well, I got part of it
Wow,
right.
well done. That's a nice one. Yeah, ping pong is
Yes,
table
back
tennis.
and forth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well done. Hey, she got it right.
It's brains. It's all
It's
brains.
all brains. It's beauty and brains.
Thank you, God.
He said, thank you, God. Thank you so much. I enjoyed having you on the show, and I hope you had a wonderful time too.
It was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank
You have
you.
an amazing team,
Thank
a
you.
beautiful office, and I just want to say thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
It really is important and so very necessary.
Oh, thank you
Keep
so
up the
much.
good work.
Thanks for watching Almost Couch. I'm sure you're eager for another inspiring story. So click here to watch another episode or click here to subscribe. I will see you in the next video.